Hi, welcome back to the Chasing Tone podcast. I'm Travis.
I'm Max.
I'm Brian.
And that's Brian, and that's Max. Hey, right?
And you're Travis.
Okay, cool. I got nothing. Nothing really.
Where are you?
Nothing really new going on with me. Anything new going on with you that's like noteworthy?
I'm going to buy a new pedal.
You're gonna which one?
I'm going to buy the new, what was it called? It's the new the fuzzy thing
Blues
from
Fuzz.
Amp
The
Tweaker.
Blues Fuzz.
Blues Fuzz.
You should buy another Archer and gift it to me for my birthday.
That would be a good idea.
That would be.
They're
hard to find right now.
Huh?
Those Archers are hard to
Oh,
find.
I'll find one.
I mean, like, they come into a store and they sell out.
But I heard something about why they might be getting harder to find, but I don't want to spread rumors.
I don't know.
No, I just heard, and this isn't a slam or anything, but I heard that.
Let's start a rumor.
Well, yeah, let's start a rumor.
Chris actually is Klein.
Yeah. He actually is Bill.
Bill Finnegan and Chris from Rockett. It's the same.
I heard, and this is the great thing about our industry is it's so tight knit that it's like a high school, and rumors get started. So why not? Here we go. I'm gonna convey the rumor. Okay. I'm not starting it. I'm conveying the rumor. And I promise to not even embellish it because that would be fun, but I'm not going to. But the rumor is that they need to change the cosmetics of it.
Oh, really?
That's the rumor. I mean, who knows what's really going down there?
I don't. Yeah, I haven't heard anything from Chris or anybody from Rockett. But
all I know
we
is
can kind of talk a little bit. But
yeah,
I mean, we don't always say, "Hey, guess what? I just got a lawsuit." You know what I mean?
Right. And I don't even think it got that far.
Probably not.
I don't think it's anything like that.
And the pedal industry is kind of like one guy says to the other guy, "Dude, come on, man, that's not cool." And then the guy's like, "Dude, I'm sorry."
Or when a random customer sees you in an elevator and says, "That was pretty crappy what you did with the SLOstortion, bro." Do you remember this?
That's right.
Do you remember this? And I looked at him like, "This is funny. This is a joke. I can't wait to see where this is going." But it was not a joke.
He was dead serious.
The guy was dead serious. He was like...
That was a National Amp Expo.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
And I forget
about that.
Oh, that's so funny because I forget that I should know this, but Mike Soldano, right? That's his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I forget, like, I guess he works with somebody else. But the guy was like, Mike didn't like it, but I guess he's kind of cool with it. But the other guy, he doesn't think it's cool, and he thinks that you cross the line there. I'm like, whoa, this is going to be a nerd fight.
Oh, yeah?
Wait till I take my pocket protector.
But no, yeah, I forgot all about that. But no, Chris, if you're listening, I would love an Archer.
This part of the podcast brought to you by Rockett Pedals.
No, man, I hate to say it, and not because it's Rockett, but because it's what it's based off of. That's the one pedal that I've always wanted to hate.
This sounds great, man.
I've always wanted to hate the Klon, because the hype and everything, whatever. But then you get a pedal that sounds amazing it's like $179 or something like that. Oh, come on.
And honestly, I think it's a lot better than the Soul Food. I really do. I know the Soul Food's based off of it, but I think Rockett really hit it out of the park with it.
There's nothing against the Soul Food. It's a cool pedal, but it's not even in the same class.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
not. It's not.
I dig the Rockett one a lot better.
Yeah, I think the clone I built is better than the Soul Food.
I haven't played
that. Sounds pretty good.
But except for it's got a weird low mid thing. But anyway,
I've thought about doing mods to the Soul Food.
You should.
I know JHS is doing it, but
yeah, they do that meat and 3 mod. I think. Yeah. I I like when you look.
I'm just going to turn it into a tube skimmer every time. No, I'm kidding.
So here's a little nerd talk with Brian Wampler. Ready? I said Wampler. I said it weird. Yeah. Wampler. I think it's because I still had Butterfinger in my teeth. It's a little off Butterfinger.
Butterfinger.
But okay,
lunchtime,
so is it what? Without giving away what exactly you would mod, is it the reason that the Soul Food would need modded, like why JHS does it and why you're wanting to do it? Is it layout based? Is it quality of component based? Or is it just the actual circuit?
There's some things about the Soul Food that are not exact to the Klon.
Right.
So those are some changes that can be done.
And that's circuit, right?
That's circuit stuff,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to put a new layout to it. That basically be
right.
Pedal.
Right. Well, I meant as far as like...
Honestly, I guess without saying... I would change C4 to it.
Right.
So what I would do
change values.
Yeah, I would take a Klon, and I would take the Soul Food, and then I would make that soul food sound like that clone.
Right. Okay.
Which depending
and whatever
on layout,
it took to do it. Whatever it took to do it.
Right. So it may be, well, in this part of the circuit, they're using a 3K resistor, but I think a 0.7K sounds more like it with this layout.
Okay.
So it wouldn't necessarily.
It's not a math thing. It's an ear thing.
Yeah, I don't think you can always say, well, this is what this schematic says. So even though this is a different layout, it has to be the exact same thing.
Right. And I didn't know if it was going to be something as simple as like. The Blues Junior.
Mm-hmm.
When we were working on that, you said something about, you're like, man, look at this cap here. You're like, I'm just going to replace that with the same value because this is higher quality and it's going to affect the tone huge. And it did.
The bypass caps, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't know if it was anything like that.
Caps, sorry.
But I didn't know if it was anything like that. Like if you just would replace it with the same value, just higher quality components, or it was a total like value change. But I see what you're saying.
I mean, to be honest, I'm sure I'll get a lot of people on YouTube that will hate me for this. And
well, let me say it because they already hate me.
No, they don't.
Harry envy. Hashtag Harry envy. Watch.
What just happened?
I hope that's in slow motion.
Yeah, let's put that in slow mo. But
okay, so when we're talking about pedals, I think the type of capacitor, so from one brand to another, I don't think it plays nearly the importance that it does
in an amplifier. Okay.
I do think there is a degree of importance, but it's not as drastic as an amp. So in an amp, if you use brand A capacitors in one amp and brand B capacitors in another amp, you can hear a lot of difference.
Right.
In a pedal, 98% won't hear a difference.
But here's the score. Right? Let's say you have 5 of those in a row and you won't hear the 2% difference, but you'll hear 2% in each one. It becomes 10%.
Could be.
And then throughout the whole circuit, if you're using less quality parts, it could be 50% difference.
Right.
So that's the weird thing, and that's where you come in, and it's why you do what you do and who you are who you are, but you know which components. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like that first cap it hits in the circuit, that has nothing to do with tone. It's just for protection, right?
The cap to ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets the radio frequencies.
Right. So it has nothing to do with tone. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, I guess, me personally, and I don't know, probably not you, Max, no offense, but you probably don't know which component in a pedal does not affect tone, which one does. You know what I mean? Not offhand.
Right. And most people don't really know that.
And some people don't care.
Right.
But the thing is you do. You know that stuff, so you know which components to change. And I kind of want to go hit on something that you were talking about as far as I'd take a Klon, I'd take a Soul Food, and I'd make that sound that way. And and I hope I'm not giving away secrets here. But and I'm not. But you were working on a specific pedal. And it was based off an amplifier, and you had 2 of these amplifiers, 2 different amplifiers of the same kind, and you would play those, check the pedal, play those, check the pedal, and then you would also go to isolated guitar tracks of your heroes that played that pedal, and then you would use that too.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going from the sound. You can't base that off anything.
Right.
You can't look at the schematic of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that, I kind of want to reiterate, that's probably how you would go about changing one pedal into a Klon or something like that. It wouldn't be like, well, here they're using this. They should be using this.
Right.
You would listen and say, this sounds better.
Well, I guess not so much now, but I know a few years ago when the amp in a box craze kind of started, there were some companies that were
welcome, Brian says.
That there were some companies that were taking the schematic and basically just substituting a transistor there for the tube.
Right.
And then saying, oh, well, that's our Marshall or whatever.
Right.
And you can't.
And that's what you were saying.
You can't do that.
And we've talked about that
Not
before.
accurate. I mean, you can, but it doesn't sound accurate.
Right. And we've talked about that before, saying, a lot of people will say, well, JFETs kind of act as tubes, so let's just take a tube amp circuit and then, instead of putting tubes there, we'll put JFETs and boom, that's going to sound perfect. Right. Because on paper it does.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? We've talked about that.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't work that way in the real world. To get it really accurate, it doesn't.
Okay, so that was not even on our paper, any of that. But, hey, it was related. So lay off me. Speaking of which, it was on TV the other night when we were at our gig and our wives were hanging out at my house.
No.
I'm afraid to ask.
They recorded the SNL special.
Oh, I saw that. That was pretty good.
Did you see it? I love the skit, Dave Farley's skit. He's like, where David Spade's like, I thought you were trying to lose weight. He's like, lay off me, I'm starving. Chris Farley, man, he's awesome. But anyway, I want to go to a subject that I was talking about earlier, and this is a genuine question I had because I have the most amazing amp ever created, and if you guys want to challenge me on that, you can send me a free amplifier. But I have a small box plexi. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who called and wrote in and everything that was trying to help me track down that 20 water. But I was going to get the 20 water, and then I found a heck of a deal on a 50 water that had a real plexi panel. I need a moment. Okay.
And a Kleenex.
Because I have a cold in my nose.
You have a cold.
Because I have a cold.
Eyes,
yeah,
right?
wipe the tears from my eyes. Because it's such a beautiful thing. But anyway, it's pretty loud, man. And I got and Dean made me some speakers, and that did tame it. Sounds great, and you can crank it, and it's not near as loud. So that tamed it a little bit. But what I'd really like to do is keep, basically, what I want gain at lower levels. Mm-hmm. Clipping. Can I say gain? People know what I mean by gain,
sure.
Clipping.
Sure.
Right, it's actually clipping, but I'll call it gain for the purpose of this conversation. So I would rather have gain at lower volumes. So I've noticed that I play with a guy who has a harder right-hand attack, and he also plays higher out. He plays humbuckers. I play single coils. And when he plays the same amp, it breaks up more.
Because he hits it harder.
And he's got higher output pickups. So I was trying to put two and two together, and I was like, well, if I put a boost in front of my amp at the same, and then turn the volume of the amp down, would I get more gain? And part of me still thinks that I might, but what you're saying is it'll just bring that volume up until it gets to a certain volume. And then once it gets to the volume, whether it's through the amp or the boost, then it will introduce gain.
Well, yeah, yes, the caveat. So, in the risk of boring Max to death.
I'm already bored. Go ahead. I'm good.
Here's a magazine you can read while we're talking. Okay, so let's look at it schematically. So what you have is your guitar signal that hits the first tube, right?
Uh-huh.
And then after that, generally you have a volume control of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
On an amp with a master volume, that would be your gain knob. On an amp without a master volume, that's usually the volume.
Right.
So that first tube, yes, you can overdrive that one tube and probably get more gain out of that one tube.
Right.
But the stages after that, you're not going to get more volume out of necessarily because it's dependent on that volume control.
Especially, okay, makes total sense. That makes total sense. So, especially because the type of gain that I really like is power tube saturation.
Right. You're not going to get...
I'm not going to get that. The only way to do that is attenuate, right?
Yes.
Okay, here's a question.
Without changing stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you trust an old transformer like that to an attenuator?
Oh,
I don't want to.
I'd ask Kevin Silver or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows those transformers inside and out. I mean, I wouldn't ask a guy who's been messing with pedals. Did
you know that Kevin's father, I just found this out, Kevin Silva, Uncle Albert's amplifiers. You can check him out, man. This guy's just a genius. He's so smart when it comes to Marshall amps that when Marshall was putting out their book, The History of Marshall Amps, they contacted him for about opinions on a specific schematic. I think it was the 1961 circuit, which is the Bluesbreaker with 4 10s or something. It's something weird, but they didn't know enough about it, so they called Kevin. They called Kevin, and then Kevin, like, I guess he'll get amps in. He saw an amp so clean that he sent a picture to Marshall, and they're like, "This is the cleanest amp we've ever seen," But anyway, so I mean, the guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And I figured out kind of why. His father was Duke Silva, in which they called him Uncle Albert. But anyway, his dad used to wind transformers. Like that was his job. He worked at a company he owned a company, I think, that wound transformers.
Wow.
And Kevin was telling me when he has a 68 Plexi small box, and I guess he blew the transformer in it. And he asked his dad, he's like, hey, can I get one of those transformers? He's like, no, those cost money. Go find one in a television or something. So he did. He found this isn't the output. This is just a power transformer. So he found one out of an old TV back in the day, you know, and threw it in there, and the amp sounds killer, you know, but... So
the best tone is on TV.
Yeah, tube TVs. Tube TVs. As long as they're true bypass. Oh, I played a gig with Max was it Friday?
Friday.
Yeah.
On Friday, right? Played this gig with Max. I didn't use a true bypass pedal.
You know your tone sucked.
You also don't use electric guitar.
I didn't use an electric guitar either.
Oh.
I kind of did.
It was an acoustic gig?
It had a pickup.
Yeah.
Was it?
I had the LR Bags M1A pickup. But I used a Boss GE7, and I had unbelievable tone.
What did you use for distortion?
Max's PA.
Yeah. Hey, could have used yours, but it was your birthday, so I was like, nah, I'm not going to make him carry all this crap out.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I carried it in.
You did carry it in. I know. I even asked.
I carried it out.
Yeah.
Because it was your birthday, I tried to be a nice guy.
I know. You even bought my beers.
I did, but you're just an a-hole.
How am I an a-hole? How am I an a-hole? I said thank you and told you didn't have to do that. And then 1 o'clock in the morning, there was 3 inches of snow.
It's pretty bad.
On the highways, on 465. Yeah. 465 is the most major highway.
In Indiana, by the way.
In Indiana.
Yeah.
And it goes around Indianapolis. It's just a big loop, and then there's on and off ramps that take you anywhere you want to go. So we're driving, and, dude, there's literally 3 to 4 inches, maybe even more, of snow on the main highways. And Max's wife is at my house with my wife. She's already in comfy pants, ready to crash, right?
Right.
And Max was like, no, I think we'll make it home. I'm like, dude,
that's pretty hairy.
Why risk your life? You know, he must love his own bed.
I do.
But so no, the clean boost thing, that, you know, I'm not too bashful to admit that I really needed that question answered for me.
Sure.
You know,
and I guess to kind of
actually look at the paper,
to kind of segue from it, and the question started out from Eric Lizotte, I assume. Probably Lizotte. I want to know how you guys use clean boost in your rig. Do you prefer to have them before the drive or post drive as a solo boost? Also, what pedals are on your pedal boards? So
okay.
So what you're saying is you kind of like to have in your boost before it hits dirt. You think, or does it depend? Like if you're boosting,
it depends on what I'm doing. Yeah, because to me, be honest, if I think of a boost, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm probably what?
Hash brown
wrong. Come on. But if it's still working, come on, right?
It's trending.
Sure.
Sure. You don't like any of my hashtags. You don't. We could go back to the history of the show and show that you don't like my hashtags.
So they weren't effective.
Hashtags haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
Hashtag H2H. No, HGH. Dang it. Ruined it. Anyway, I look at a boost before dirt as a fuzz pedal. You know,
but what if it's a tube screamer?
Huh? The boost before the tube screamer?
Yes, like for example, you've told me before. I think it was a Pinnacle, maybe, that you said you like running the tube screamer into the Pinnacle.
Yeah,
is it that?
It's plexi drive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so it's different, but I run at lower gain, so somewhat similar. Mm-hmm. I mean, gain styles. Yeah, I do. But it also kind of fuzzes it up a little bit and makes it sag. Mm-hmm. So, to me, I always run a boost pedal first. You know, I don't know why. Maybe it's just habit.
Do you run anything to get your solo volume up more?
Another overdrive.
You do, you? So you'll hit another overdrive.
I rarely have a boost on my board.
Really?
Yeah, like unless like it depends. If I had in my dream situation, and I probably shouldn't say this when my boss is known for overdrive pedals, but in a dream situation, I'd never use an overdrive pedal. I'd just gas an amp and then hit a boost pedal to get up and over. And because between a boost pedal, a great sounding overdriven amp, and a volume knob on your guitar, me personally, I wouldn't need any type of dirt pedal because I'm not covering music.
Right. Well, yeah, and we should probably preface what you are playing.
Right.
More like classic rocky, bluesy.
Exactly. You know, southern rock, classic rock, blues.
What's your website name again?
TravisFeaster.com.
That's where your music is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
People keep asking me, where can I buy Travis's album? So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's a great question. But no, it's travisfeaster.com, wtfeaster.com.
Hashtag hashbrown.com.
I need to do that. Hashtag, come on. But no, see, Max hates it. Look at
Just whatever. Yeah.
he hates it.
Somebody said like when they entered hash brown, come on, it entered. Somebody else popped up.
No. Somebody said, how come when I clicked on the hashtag come on, a bunch of Maria Sharapova pictures showed up? They said, does Travis have a thing for? I said, I certainly have a thing for Maria Sharapova. Oh my gosh, do I have a thing for Maria? That has nothing to do with come on, but. Oh my gosh, yeah. If you don't know who Maria Sharapova is,
I just can't remember who it was.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, you take it.
Throw it up on the screen.
You always say throw it up on the screen.
It never happens.
And our editor never does it.
Yeah.
Never wants to be like, throw it up on the screen.
I just look like it.
Because Max is a little needy there because he actually wants the spinning picture or something, make it look like he's throwing it up.
We're just like, can we cut the quick picture?
Oh,
there it is, or something like that.
Okay, that we could do. I thought you wanted to actually look like you're going whoosh.
Oh no, I don't care about that.
Oh, okay.
And that just never happens. I just end up like, why is he doing this into the camera? I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. What were we talking about? Oh yeah,
Or boost.
Yeah, I mean the kind of music that I play, I would rather just gas an amp.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the tones that I prefer are plexi style tones, and it's somewhat unrealistic to be able to crank an amp and get those tones on the venues in which I'm playing.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess that's why I use overdrives. Mm-hmm. But I've fallen out of love with my tube screamer. I mean, think about it. My pedal board has been at your barn for a month.
I've noticed that. Yeah, you haven't touched it.
I haven't touched it. I need to go get it.
Which is I'm like, that's weird. He's not using pedals anymore.
No, I'm using pedals. I'm using the ones I have at the house. Except, although the last couple times you've been over, I'm like, dude, let's jam. And
either that or he's really out of tune now.
Yeah, I actually took my tuner off my pedal board because I was going to get one of those ones that just go on your headstock. So I'm like, well, man, I can't warrant the space for a tuner anymore when they have this technology. But I never got one. So like, I'll have my pedal board down and I'll go to tune and it's like, crap. Good thing I play nice guitars. Thank you, Don Grosh. But I play nice guitars, so they don't really go out of tune. But I don't use the gear shifter that much.
Yeah, that's true. But, what about you, Max?
Always two tube screamers.
Yep.
No matter the amp?
Yeah, well, I usually play Fender type stuff, 6L6 bass or 6V6. So yeah, always two tube screamers just works for me. Always has. I've used a bunch of different stuff, and I'd always go back to two tube screamers.
Yeah, you're right, man. Because you were such a fanboy for that Morning Glory.
Yeah, it works great with my Blues Junior.
And then you got it, and you're just like, doesn't do what I wanted to do.
It doesn't sound like a tube screamer.
For my Super, it just didn't work. For my Blues Junior, sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's still at my house.
What about the visual sound? What was it called? The Double Trouble?
Double Trouble. It was okay. Just I think the one that y'all built me just sounds a little better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Justin.
A couple fuzzes, couple delays. Oh, wow. That's about it.
Although I will say one thing. That Earthquaker Hoof Reaper
sounds killer.
The octave up on that and the big muff. I'm not a huge fan of the tone bender side because I'm not a huge tone bender fan. It's a little too modern of a fuzz for me.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's maybe I don't know how to play it.
Or you're just old.
Yeah. Whatever.
What do you think? Or he's just old.
He said, or you're just old. But the octave up on that is the best octave up I've ever heard. I would put that up against what they call it, the Tycho Bra or whatever.
Tycho Bra, yeah.
I will put it up against that any day for the clean octave.
So I went with the Chicago Iron makes an awesome one. I don't have the 300 bones of Pony It for one yet.
Dude, I would put the Hoof Reaper up against it any day, unless you're wanting to add fuzz into it. But then, no, I'd still put it up against that any day.
It's awesome.
But it's not blue. And it's not like in the same shape, and Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't use it, so you don't want it. I'll just use it.
I know.
So do you use a boost, or is that just because you like the buffer?
I use it. I use a boost to generally just to raise my volume up.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So where do you use it?
I mean, because if I'm playing the band, then there's usually I'm sitting in with someone, and so there's already two guitar players there.
Right.
And so it's just to kind of elevate whatever, like if it's an identifiable riff or your solo or whatever.
Right.
So I'll use it after my dirt. I usually
makes sense.
I mean, if I run two overdrives together, it's usually something like I don't know, it could be It'd be like a Clarksdale and a Euphoria or something like that. Or, I mean, it'd be 2 lighter gain overdrives stacked together.
Right.
I mean, very rarely do I put 2 heavier gain distortions together.
Although.
Just taint me.
Oh, man.
I do like to stack like Paisley drive into like the 30-something though.
Do you remember the combination? This guy came to he was at NAMM and he plugged into our board. He turned 2 pedals on. I don't want to say the combination, but do you remember the combination? Because remember, you even like, I might want to look at doing something like that.
I remember that happening, but I forget what it was.
Oh man, it was. I'll say that it was a distortion into an overdrive.
Yeah.
Instead of vice versa.
It was a weird combo.
It was a weird combo. One that we've probably never done. Can I say it?
Yeah.
It was a Sovereign into the Paisley drive.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah. Technically, it was a Paisley into the Sovereign, chain-wise. Paisley's first, man.
Was it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Positive.
You for real?
I wired the board.
You for real?
Yeah.
I'd need evidence. I'd need photographic evidence on that.
Pull it up. Throw it up on the screen here.
Throw it up on the screen.
No.
Because I could have swore it was a Sovereign into it. Maybe not.
No, we wired the Paisley first in the chain.
Okay.
First.
All right. Still, I don't believe you. Max is like, I wired the damn board.
I know. You're at home and I wired it.
Yeah. But
what do I know?
I don't know. What do you know? But so I mean, that's how I see boost pedals, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I like to use them in the loop sometimes. I actually like an EQ as a boost, as a volume boost.
Yeah, that's what I did on our acoustic gigs. I just used it as a boost.
Set it all flat.
Yeah, set it all flat, and then whenever I take a solo, well, no, I did raise the bass, but that was just to EQ everything, you know, because, but yeah, man, I just use it as a volume boost pretty much.
Really?
Yeah.
I like raising about 700 hertz or so, 700 to 800.
Okay.
Just a smidge.
That's a mid-range?
Yep.
Mid-range?
Kick it on, cut through a little bit.
Yeah, so you're not even really using so much as a volume as you are just a mid-boost.
Just a frequency boost.
Yeah.
Just to kind of cut through the mix.
Oh, I do want to say something. I was listening to a previous episode where I was talking about the Phil Jones bass. It's the AG100. I said AD100. It's the AG100. Yeah.
AG.
I was wondering about that.
I know.
That was hard to correct you.
I know. I just I just wanted to give the propers, you know.
Sure.
Give my props. Give my propers. You know, that's what that stands for. Props. Give my propers.
2 guys walking to fish and chips.
Yeah, I know, right? Whatever. Don't make me tell my fish and chip story. But I think that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys have any questions or comments, keep them to yourselves. And then, if you have any questions or comments, you could either email us at podcast@wampadpedals.com, YouTube. We're always active there. Facebook, Chasing Tone Podcast, Instagram. You can do messages on Instagram, I think, right? I don't know.
You're on Yik Yak now too, right?
I don't even know who that is. But
Pinterest.
We're on Pinterest. If you want some fine recipes, photo ideas, some Etsy ideas.
Share your pin with us.
Yeah. You know, if you want to pin me, you know.
Something smells delicious.
Screenshot that. Pin it. But no, leave us a comment, whatever. Check us out online, social media. Check out Max's blog, wampadpedals.com/blog.
/blog, yep.
/blog.
I like the backward /blog version better.
Well, I don't even know where that takes you.
It probably doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
404 error.
404 error, yeah.
He wrote that one by himself.
I love on my website, I can like tell the 404 error, like I can alter that text. So I can be like, you idiot. I haven't yet. I'm going to do
write
that.
A blog that just says 404 error. So when people go to the blog, they'll see that and be like, I don't understand. I went right where he told me to. Just keeps going there.
But anyways, check us out online. Throw the picture up, Max. All right, for Max and Brian, I'm Travis. Thanks for listening.